Factors and factions catching action.
Right, I said I'd let you know in a second, and that second has been and gone. So our next match is between the phenomenal one, Mr. AJ Styles, and some guy they found on YouTube. I think his name's Logan Paul. But yeah, it was definitely this was a grudge match, and what's a grudge match? This was just more of a standard, should have been a Monday Night Raw match, but made it to WrestleMania for me. Adam, what did you think of this one?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Logan Paul. I've been quite vocal about him on
Previous episodes.
Vocal about him on previous episodes, sort of thing. It is a case that Karrion Kross sums this up for me really nicely. Is that he seems to have a real issue with Logan Paul, as we've seen in some of the run up to this match. Moving forward, it's. And yeah, I don't think I'm entirely unjustified in it. But opening VT for this match basically paints AJ Styles as the wise veteran, which I suppose, you know what, he is. He's been in the industry a hell of a lot longer than I think anybody really realizes. Yeah, it's a case that it then sees like Logan Paul. It then paints Logan Paul as how do we describe it? Like a talented but conceited upstart. He is very aware of how talented he is, and I have to say that through gritted teeth, because it really it makes me urge wanting to having to give that guy any form of credit, just based on the fact that he is a conceited douchebag. It is exactly as advertised.
Made me sick they gave him a title run, I'll tell you. Ugh. If you want to devalue a title so much, just give it straight to Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And yeah, I know that he's there and he's supposed to be hated, but I think they could post him as a babyface and I'd still fucking hate him. And obviously my issue...
They could make him the champ that runs the camp, and I'd still call him a bellend.
Yeah, pretty much. And my issue has been, isn't that he's this incredibly talented person that's taking something away from somebody else? Because no, I fully acknowledge he is an incredibly talented human being, and that just makes him more frustrating, is the fact that he is good at this.
It's the fact that he was a YouTuber, man. He's just bought his ticket to WWE and bought himself a ticket to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's not the case that he's not talented or anything like that. Quite the opposite. I can acknowledge how talented he is. My issue with him comes purely that he just as Richard said, he's bought his way into WWE. He's not got there through the indies. He's not worked his way up the ladder. And yeah, it fucks me off, because there are so many other talented individuals that could have worked their way up to the WWE roster, but now have to contend with people that can just sort of buy their way in. I mean, if I take out a big enough bank loan, can I buy my way to WrestleMania?
Well, I'd pay to see that.
Fan there?
I'd pay to see you eat a Braun Breaker spear at WrestleMania. I'd even start a GoFundMe for it.
I would take that. I would 100% take that spear like an absolute champ. If it meant that I had my WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, I don't blame you, to be fair. I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah, fucking right you would. None of this maybe shit. It would definitely fucking happen.
I mean, a few things it definitely did happen was at the start of this match, Logan Paul sending AJ into the apron and then back into the ring, and then there was where AJ shoulder blocks Logan Paul and then hits a quick drop kick. But it doesn't last for long, as Logan Paul kicks AJ off the apron into the announce table and then jumps over where as Logan Paul jumps over the ropes, AJ uses the apron to tie him up and just starts brutally chopping him in the chest. The fact he got away with that, such old school trick, and this was basically like what the story they were trying to tell, is that AJ's been doing this for longer than some of us have been, breathing oxygen. And Logan Paul may have learned a few tricks off a few people that he's faced so far, but he doesn't know them all. And Logan Paul got caught out by AJ using the apron as a weapon, which is not something you see an awful lot.
No, this is it. But again, one of the things that makes Logan Paul so very frustrating in the wrestling game is that he's not only talented, but he's an incredibly quick learner. Because I'm almost positive I remember Logan Paul doing exactly that back to AJ Styles later on in the match.
He does. Actually, sort of fairly towards the end, I believe. It's not in the notes that I can see, and I've got a full page of notes up.
But yeah, I've after AJ uses the apron to jam up Logan Paul, I've got noted down here that Paul sends AJ into 2 ring posts. So one's bad enough, but being sent into 2 is not
slightly unfair, not too pleasant.
No, definitely not.
We did see that. So after AJ fell off to the outside after being bounced into those 2 ring posts, Logan Paul hit him with a springboard crossbody. And then Logan Paul bounced AJ off the Spanish announce table, the ring apron, and then breaks the count at 5. So he was being held, I believe, for the oh no, it was, they were both on the outside. So he rolled into the ring to break the count, and then comes back out to tie AJ up in the apron. And then Logan Paul manages to pull off a new move, or a move that has been renamed into a pull from Grace for a 2 count, which is basically just a coup de grace.
Yeah.
And then he hits.
I'm sort of surprised they went with that, considering the fall from Grace. Isn't that, I want to say, one of Obafemi's moves?
It is, yes. And then he went from the pull from Grace in the 2 count into an over bomb, which was basically a suplex with a little bit extra to it.
It's a release suplex that should be a power bomb. Realistically, it's almost as if he takes him up for a power bomb, but ends up sort of overshooting him a little bit.
Yeah.
So called an overbomb. Paul continues on with his offense as AJ tries to fight back. Paul hits a moonsault, and honestly, this match at this stage starts to look a little bit like a fucking mugging. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure if AJ had bought his wallet and his keys out, that Logan Paul probably would have taken them and gone and helped himself to his fucking wife. To be quite honest.
Well, Logan Paul is a bit of an arsehole for stuff like that, so yeah, he probably would have done.
Yeah, this is it. Now, AJ Styles does start building some momentum, but it doesn't seem to last very long. As AJ goes up for the phenomenal forearm, Paul ends up fucking catching him and hits a rolling senton into quite an impressive lion's salt as well for a pin, but only gets a 2 count.
I got that lion's salt.
Lion's salt isn't something you see very often. It was something that Chris Jericho used to do quite a lot. But now he's fat and old
and works for the competition, and we don't watch him.
Yeah, this is it. Who's Chris Jericho again? Lead singer of Fozzy, isn't it?
It's that guy everyone used to call Y2J.
Yeah, used to carry around a list, I believe.
Yes, the one person who was actually a legitimate friend of Kevin Owens. Until Kevin Owens also made the list.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, Logan Paul is he does dominate a good portion of this match, and then I would understand what happens next if it were a case that Logan Paul had been losing for a good majority of the match, but it's pointed out to us by commentary to begin with that Logan Paul's manager, Jeff Fool, is sneaking around the outside of the ring, gripping white knuckle gripping a set of brass knucks.
He was definitely out to cause some damage with those, or make sure that Logan caused some damage with those.
Which makes absolutely no sense. I mean, Logan Paul using brass knuckles seems a bit redundant considering he's got a steel plate in his hand.
Yep.
So using brass knuckles does seem very redundant. Plus the fact that Logan Paul was winning the match anyway. He wasn't in dire straits, which is normally when we see a heel
People
character
cheat,
use a
yeah.
move like that. Now, thankfully, Logan Paul never actually got hold of the brass knuckles, and this was all in count for with Karrion Kross, who appeared at ringside with Scarlett to catch Jeff Fool trying to give the brass knucks over to Logan Paul. Now, this act of charity is uncharacteristic for Karrion, only because, and he sort of, he very much.
Well, Karrion Kross has been winding
well.
AJ up for a little while, hasn't he? He's been having playing a few little mind games with AJ Styles the last few weeks.
Well, he's been trying to bring out the darker side of AJ Styles, hasn't he? Really, it's
the
become
AJ we all want to watch.
Is it though? I was always heel AJ Styles is a bitch, 100% stone cold fucking bitch, and he frustrates me no end because heel AJ Styles does not live up to his potential at all. Whereas face AJ Styles is a lot more. Yeah, it puts a lot more hard work into it.
Fair enough.
That's my opinion, anyway.
I mean, fair play. I can fully get behind that.
Yeah, but Karrion Kross ends up confiscating the brass knuckles from Jeff Fool. AJ sends Jeff Fool careening across the arena. And yeah, we don't really see much from him at all. But Karrion ends up getting into a bit of an argument with AJ on the outside of the ring, trying to convince him, begging him, pleading with him to use the brass knuckles to win the match with Logan Paul. But
he was not having any of it, was he?
No, really wasn't, and I can't say that I blame him either, because yeah, that wouldn't have been the way to win that match against Logan. If you're trying to show the best way to come up in the industry is to come up the way that everybody did before you, not buy your way in, but
Paying those dues.
Pay those dues. It's a case that the last thing you want to do as the veteran fighting for that side of the story is to then win by cheating.
Yeah, you don't want to do the most heel thing you can and win that way.
No, this is it. So yeah, AJ basically says no to the brass knuckles. Ends up cold cocking Karrion Kross, and yeah, basically goes and sets up for a phenomenal forearm, but misses. And speaking of that metal left hand, ends up getting hit with AJ gets hit with that, and then slides into a pulverizer, which again pains me to admit, but is a
I really like
incredibly
it.
effective. It's so effective, and yeah, just so nice to watch. And
Yeah.
again, it is not a fun thing to have to admit.
You know what? This entire segment has made me realise there's a lot of things about professional wrestling I don't like, and to make for my own insecurities, I need WWE to do an Alberto Del Rio on at Logan Paul, and I need them to fire his ass. I hate having to admit that I enjoy watching some of his things because, yeah, I just don't like the guy. Winds me up, but he is slightly entertaining.
Yeah, and this is it. But
Especially when it's
yeah,
compared to people like The Miz, who is also slightly entertaining on the right day, but not for more than 5 minutes.
thing is though, is that the Miz didn't buy his way in.
No, he definitely worked his way to get there. There's just there's a few people that I'd like to see no longer in WWE, but that is purely for my own selfish reasons.
Yeah, this is it. Now, next section after this, WrestleMania was a WrestleMania by the numbers. Now, I'm not sure if Rich would have picked up on any of this, if I'm honest. But according to this little this infomercial that we got, it was a case that over 41, I think it was over 40 or 41 WrestleManias, we've had 421 total matches involving 456 unique individuals.
That's a lot.
Now, the individual with the most WrestleMania matches is The Undertaker,
Yes,
who had
23.
27.
My bad.
27 matches at Mania. And yeah, WrestleMania has been broadcast from 26 different cities.
I'm
Now, I
intrigued
went,
by one thing with that Undertaker statistic, and that's if things like last year's WrestleMania, where he made that 30-second appearance and chokeslam Rock, if that counts. Because if that does, that's naughty. That's not even a proper match, do you know what I mean?
yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with it. It might be. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't drill down into the apps, like the nitty gritty detail for it. Mostly because the next piece of information I had to go looking for completely on my own. Because I wanted to know which city had hosted the most the most WrestleManias, and it's actually a four-way tie.
I think one of them is Seattle,
Nope.
one of them New York.
Yes, one of them is New York because New York hosted WrestleMania 1, 10, and 20.
Ooh. I know Las Vegas has done two. That was
Yes,
9 and
so that doesn't
41.
feature in that doesn't feature in this list.
No.
Instead of sitting here and playing the guessing game, I'll let you know. So,
Indianapolis
yes,
is
New York
probably on
City
this.
was one, hosting 1, 10, and 20. Los Angeles also hosted three, being 2, 7, and 21. Orlando, Florida hosted 24, 33, and 36. And Rosemont, Illinois hosted WrestleMania 2, 13, and 22.
Never even heard of Rosemont, but the rest of them I probably would have got within the next sort of 5 or 6 guesses anyway.
Possibly. The interesting thing is that I actually had to look into this. Is that there was one WrestleMania number that showed up twice in that list, ironically,
Yes.
and that was WrestleMania 2. And the reason it shows up as because the WrestleMania 2 was actually split over three different cities.
Hmm.
Um, One of them was, so part of it took place in Los Angeles. Another part was in Rosemont, Illinois, and there was another city, and I can't remember what city it was. Fuck. I was doing so well.
You were?
Yeah.
You Michael Cole it?
I did. Give me a second. I will get there.
That's what he's told a few women as well, Finishers and Factions fans. Don't you worry. Give me a second, it will get there.
Screw you.
No, thank you.
Nobody likes you.
Nope. No, they do not. Oh. Come on, Adam, where was it?
The event took place at 3 venues on the same day. The Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. The Rosemont Horizon in Chicago suburb of Rosemont, Illinois. And the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, nicely done. That I didn't know that. If you did, Finishers and Factions fans, let us know. You can get in contact with us via email. That is finishersandfactions@gmail.com. Or you can now find us on TikTok, which is at Fin and Fan Pod for TikTok. And we also are now on X too. And on X, we are known as Finishers, as that's at Fin and Fan Pod as well. So at Fin and Fan Pod on all your socials to find the Finishers and Factions podcast.
Yes, we most certainly are. But that was WrestleMania by the numbers. The only other thing that I will let you know of before we go into the next match is the celebs that we were introduced to here at this stage. So one of them was Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens, I know, I actually am aware of who this is. She starred in the High School Musical films. She is also an avid WWE fan, which is always a surprise.
You know her more from High School Musical, surely, right?
I mean, I've never been to a WWE event, so I wouldn't have that while I was there, would I?
Oh, that hooked me up.
So, one of the other celebrities was Rana Daguba. I might have
Never heard of them.
that slightly. He's an actor. Terence Crawford, the unified welterweight champion and WBA junior middleweight champion, apparently has a 41-0 record.
Blimey. That's quite an impressive feat.
Just in case you weren't aware. And Quavo I recognise. I couldn't tell you what, unless it was written down in front of me, which quite luckily it is. I wouldn't be able to tell you what it was he was famous for, but apparently he is a multi-platinum rapper, songwriter, and record producer.
That is what Wikipedia says too, apart from it says that his real name is Quavius Keate Marshall. I think Quavo is easier to pronounce, actually. So we'll stick with Quavo.
So. But yes, we go from there into our next match.
We certainly do. Right. And without further ado, we'll jump straight in. So our next match is not going to go slightly how it was billed, as one of our participants, Bailey, was brutally attacked in the pre-show for night 1 of WrestleMania, which means that her tag partner, Lyra Valkyria, does not have a tag partner for this match. So we discover, has found a replacement. So we see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who are the current women's tag champions, come to the ring. We then see Lyra come to the ring. And then, well, I gave it away a little bit earlier by saying a legend made a return. For one night only, what do we know at this point? But Adam, who was Bailey's replacement in this tag match as Lyra Valkyria's partner?
So, as a complete shot out of left field, we end up with Becky Lynch, the man, returning to our screens there for it, which, yeah, suffice it to say, came as a little bit of a shock there for it.
It was quite a big shock. Now, for some of the matches, WWE have given us some statistics on its competitors. I didn't actually get any for this one. So I'm not sure if there wasn't any, or if I took my eyes off the ball for a little bit too long. And knowing Becky Lynch was on my screen, I can't imagine that was the case.
No, so
'Cause
it wasn't a case that that you missed the stats that they gave. They didn't give any, which wasn't the best. But
I'd like to be able to have told you when the last time Becky Lynch competed in a WWE ring was, or when the last time she was at WrestleMania was, because, you know, we like to give you some statistics and some facts to go with your weekly breakdowns. And yeah, we just didn't seem to have any for this. And with Becky Lynch being pretty much a future Hall of Famer, I thought we'd have got something. And, well, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez being the only 3-time tag champions for this specific variation of tag team belt, was something else that, I mean, I can give it to you, but we weren't given anything like that for this match. Tell you something though, Liv Morgan looked absolutely shocked when Becky Lynch's music hit. She did not know what had hit her, but I think Becky Lynch's last match may have actually been against Liv Morgan.
yeah, so we are told a couple of times that Liv has gone on record on several different occasions as being the person that retired Becky Lynch. Some good, well, maybe even just over a year ago. As I believe, off the top of my head, that is when would have been the last time that we saw Becky Lynch, sort of sometime over 12 months ago, I believe, top of my head.
So the last time that she faced anyone in a WWE ring was when she lost to Liv Morgan in a steel cage in May 2027. And
that doesn't
May 27th, 2024, sorry. But then it also says that her last match
2 years from now.
Yeah, it also says that her last match was the 21st of April 2025. So yeah, her last match as of now was this WrestleMania match. Her last match before this WrestleMania match was the 27th of May 2024 against Liv Morgan. So yeah, Liv Morgan technically was the woman to retire Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch does not stay retired for long, apparently.
No, well, for longer than not as long as she thought she was going to, anyway.
No, definitely.
As she's said on numerous occasions in interviews, that she's got no want or need to carry on going on, sort of thing. It's
I think she's accomplished everything she could do without trying to give her the women's North American title and the women's Intercontinental title. There's not really much else that she hasn't already held.
Yeah, this is it. So not really sure. Well, I think I know why it is she's ended up in WrestleMania 41, and I think it was mostly because they didn't really have anybody else that would make sense.
No, and having the Irish lass kicker come out to join her compatriot from Ireland in that match was quite an interesting one.
There's also been a case that I believe Becky Lynch has served as a bit of a mentor towards Lyra in the past as well. So there's definitely like a teacher-student relationship there of some kind, but
a Tiffy Trishy time style thing.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of. Now, yeah, it's a case that once Becky Lynch makes her entrance into WrestleMania, I think all the colour drained out of Liv Morgan's face, quite frankly.
Well, Liv
She
Morgan
looked
obviously wasn't
absolutely
expecting this.
terrified.
Well, yeah, considering, like you said, she's been running around for the last year almost telling everyone she retired Becky Lynch, and then at the show of shows, Becky's here in the coming towards the ring that, you know, for a title that Liv's holding. Like, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. You got a lot to lose there. You're getting an ass kicking on a personal level, and there's a title involved too. Yeah.
No, this is it. Now, as far as the match went, I'll be honest, I didn't get a massive amount of notes for it. I was that sort of struck by the fact that Becky Lynch was on my screen and I didn't really expect her to be there. That yeah, like notions of taking notes during this match sort of went to the wayside a little bit.
So I've got a few here. I've got that Becky Lynch locks in a chokehold on Raquel Rodriguez, and Raquel Rodriguez flips her over the top, and both Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez sort of taking them sort of both of Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch out. Sorry, I had to try and reread my own notes there. My English when I'm watching things like this and trying to type quickly does not English too well. I've also got that Liv Morgan pushes Lyra Valkyria and Raquel hits a rather tasty big boot for a 2 count. And Liv Morgan follows that up. Sorry, let me just double check. Sorry, Lyra Valkyria apparently hits. It wasn't Lyra Valkyria, it was Liv Morgan that hit the Three Amigos with the Eddie Shuffle. Which was something that her on-screen boyfriend Dominic Mysterio does quite a lot, with all rumours suggesting that Dominic Mysterio could actually be the illegitimate bastard of Juan Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dom himself in his formative years was involved in a storyline before he was a professional.
The custody of Dom Mysterio between Ray and Eddie.
Yes, that's the one.
Ah, yes. Quality match.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it is a case that we see all of the classic moves come out for each for each superstar. The Three Amigos from Liv, as well as the Liv's tried and tested method of gaining the upper hand, which is the cat and mouse game around the arena. Because that was one thing I did manage to make a note of here. Was that so? At one point in the match, Lyra is very well isolated off from her tag partner, taking an absolute mauling.
She does get pretty brutalised in this match, to be fair, didn't she?
She did, and it's not for want of trying to get over to Becky. I mean, Liv and Raquel did a phenomenal job up to a certain extent of keeping Lyra exactly where they needed her to be,
as far away from her tag partner as possible.
Yeah, so they kept her isolated off, and it is a case that so Liv tries to stop Lyra from making the tag, but ends up getting a kick to the side of the head for a troubles, which I think sends Liv off to the outside. But Liv is not perturbed there, as the minute she realizes that she can't stop Lyra from making the tag, she goes and pulls Becky Lynch off the ring apron.
Fantastic ring awareness going on. I can't get to the one trying to make the tag, but I can get to the one trying to be tagged. It definitely shows the quality in Liv Morgan. I enjoy watching Liv Morgan wrestle, to be fair. She is a very talented wrestler.
Yes,
and I don't think she gets the credit she deserves, to be fair.
There's a lot of talent there in such short shorts.
Yes. But no, I'd like to actually see Liv Morgan hold a a big boy title over. In fact, I know she's held big boy titles in the past, right? And I know that she's currently holding the tag team title, which is a semi big boy title, right? But I'd like to see her with a women's world title around her waist again sometime soon.
I don't think that's completely outside the realms of possibility, to be honest. I think once the Judgment Day reaches its inevitable conclusion, I think we will see Liv go back chasing the.
One person I wish we had seen at WrestleMania that we don't see was Alexa Bliss. I thought we might have seen something from Alexa, but yeah, nothing. Came back for the
I have seen
Rumble.
some things. Yeah, I have seen some things online about even like some of the more established wrestling creators than ourselves, sort of asking the question of what was the point in bringing Alexa Bliss back at the
Royal Rumble.
At the Royal Rumble for it to lead absolutely nowhere. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and considering she signed a brand new contract to be at the Royal Rumble too, it was a little bit off. But yeah, no, I thought we might have seen her at some point, but I've digressed a little bit here. Have we had a conversation about Becky Lynch hitting the Bexploder and locking in the disarmer? We have not. Right, so one thing I will always sit here and say that I enjoy watching is old school Becky Lynch. So when she starts locking in some of these big old moves that we've not seen for a year-ish, that we're quite used to seeing a lot of, I actually quite enjoyed watching it. You know, the Bexploder with a baseball slide on Liv Morgan, the disarmer on Liv Morgan. You know, she locked that disarmer in a couple of times, to be fair. And then we get the I'm not sure if it's complimentary or not. Like we're going to see it whether every time that Liv Morgan's in the ring, but we did finally get to see an Oblivion, which is always worth watching.
It's one of those finishing moves that is easy enough to. It's easy enough for her to pull on any opponent, but it is incredibly conditional on
The setup.
The match she tries to hit it and making sure that she's in the right place and in the right position.
Oh yeah,
it's a universally used move that you just don't. If it's not in the right place, it doesn't go as well as you think it will.
No, exactly. And obviously, if it doesn't go in the right place, it's not very safe either. And safety is definitely the prime concern for all of these superstars. As much as they're trying to get their stuff done, they're also trying to get it done without risking their opponent and the health of their opponent. Well, yeah, exactly. Don't, for example, try and do a shooting star press if you're not built to do shooting star presses.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I couldn't do a shooting star press. I could probably do a belly flop, and that would probably be about it.
Yeah, so these 450 splashes, and I'm like, nope, that would be called the hell splash because fuck me, it's coming really fast, like hella fast, and oh, splash.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we're pretty close to the conclusion of this match anyway.
Yeah, I think we should just roll with it, to be fair.
One of the last notes that I've got here is Lyra keeping hope alive with a valiant effort and a hot tag to Lynch as Becky goes to work on both Liv and Raquel. I've got it down here that Becky and Lyra end up winning the women's world tag titles as Becky hits the manhandle slam for the win.
Yeah, so not only does Becky Lynch get another WrestleMania appearance, she did something Charlotte couldn't do and got a title out of it.
Yeah, this is it. And obviously, I mean, you mentioned Charlotte in the same breath as Becky. I mean, neither one of those two women get on together in inside the ring or outside of it. So, for Becky to have walked out of a WrestleMania that she probably wasn't intending to be any part of in the first place with a title,
but that does it's ironic this happened actually, because Becky used to be known as Becky Two Belts. Because at one point, Becky had a tag title and a singles title. Now, stood in the ring with her at this moment, being crowned the new women's tag champion, would be Lyra Valkyria. You say, Rich, what do those things have in common? Well, Lyra Valkyria is currently the women's Intercontinental Champion.
Yes.
Yes. So she is now technically Lyra Two Belts. So Lyra Two Belts is standing in a ring with Becky Two Belts. We've got two Irish double champions in the ring at the same time. Bet you can't tell me the last time that happened.
No, I can't.
I'm not going to either.
This time, for you to be able to make that claim, they both would have had to have been holding two titles at the same time.
But one is a former and one is a current. But yeah, they are both. Yes. But yeah, I couldn't either because I didn't do the research behind it. Because I've only just thought about it.
No, this is it. Now, we move on from this match. And the reason I'm moving on from this match, because this was probably the most hyped I've been throughout this entire WrestleMania season, because the next thing that we hear is an awful lot of glass shattering.
It is. And it wouldn't be WrestleMania without getting an appearance from a couple of Hall of Famers. Now, we've already seen Shawn Michaels. He came out for night one to give us our official attendance, which is what the Breaking Glass is here for today. Now, the night one attendance, I'm just getting back up here as I scroll through, was given to us by Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, it wasn't. Night one was given us by HBK. That is true. I'm just trying to scroll through because I can't find it. And he comes out and tells us, yeah, the attendance was 61,467 in a sold-out arena. Now,
Stone Cold came out and told us that night two's attendance was 63,226 sold out.
Now, I'd like to know where the fuck they pulled an extra 2,000 seats from, and if that is the case, like, how have they just managed to pull an extra 1,800 seats out of somewhere? Because they can't both be sold out. If the second night is sold out at 63,000 people, the first night was not sold out. And if the first night was sold out at 61,000 people, someone's breaking some health and safety rules.
No, this is it. It's a case that something didn't quite add up, but
somebody lied to us,
it's WWE. A case that Stone Cold also manages to give us the combined attendance of both nights, which was, when you add those two figures together, adds up to 124,693 people.
That is a lot of wrestling fans. I mean,
that is a lot of wrestling fans.
That over 2 nights is more than a Super Bowl. And a Super Bowl, well, that's a lot of football fans. So 124,000 Hulkamaniacs walking through into Hulkamania. That's impressive.
It is. It is. I mean, we've skirted over one of the more viral bits of Stone Cold coming out. Obviously, he came out on his, if you want to call it an ATV or a quad bike, depending on where you're from.
Yeah.
He comes out on his on a quad bike, which we've seen Stone Cold do on several occasions before. He's done that, rode around the ring, had a good laugh, and one fan didn't think it was funny this time though, as Stone Cold apparently couldn't drive in a straight enough line to avoid the barrier on his second lap of the ring.
And this was before he'd even cracked open a Steve Weiser too. He hadn't even had a Steve Weiser at this point, or unless he'd had a few libations with Jay on the bus.
Maybe.
Yeet.
Maybe. It's a case that he gave a poor fan a near-death experience. I mean, in fairness, he goes over to him and has conversation twice, I say a conversation. He's there for less than 10 seconds, so it's not a conversation as such. I think it's more of a case of
You're good.
leaning over and going, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, that fan sold that move better than Dolph Ziggler ever could.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that section of WrestleMania sort of dies as Stone Cold then drowns himself in Steve Weiser's as is his tradition, I suppose.
And then someone else turns the quad bike around for him to be able to get it out, and then he walks back up the ramp.
Yeah, he's like, no, fuck that. It lives there now. Don't worry about it. Somebody else will sort it.
I'll buy a new one.
I'm going the fuck home.
Yeah, I'll buy a new one. What?
And
As to that,
we go from there
into
our
main event. The main event match, which is John Cena and Cody Rhodes. And we will follow up with that one right now. And with this, our main event of the evening, this is Cody Rhodes defending his undisputed WWE Championship against the man that we have all seen recently on multiple viral clips, John Cena. The man going for his 17th world title. We are informed just before the big man himself enters informed, we are reminded that this is John Cena's last WrestleMania appearance. And his music hits, and it is just pure darkness. Now, we were told a couple of weeks ago by John Cena, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was somewhere on the European tour, that we didn't deserve new ring gear, new entry music, new video package. We didn't deserve any of that. And you know what the jammy little bastard did? He took it all away from us. All we got was music. We got no video package. We got, no big flashy entrance. It was literally just his music and a light walking him down the rope. Like, it was weird. Normally, this is the guy who, when he showed up at WrestleMania 21, I want to say, where he had a bollock ton of cars come driving out with people dressed up as Al Capone with, Tommy guns. I believe WrestleMania 21 was in Chicago. That's why that might have been a thing. Big flashy WrestleMania entrances. And then this time, it was like a boxing entrance. It was just music and a light. Compared to Cody's entrance, which is completely different.
Yeah, so John Cena's entrance, completely devoid of any colour, pizzazz, any sort of WrestleMania magic whatsoever. And honestly, it just very much encapsulated exactly what it needed to. Whereas, yes, 100%, Cody Rhodes' American Nightmare, the American Nightmare's entrance, ridiculously extravagant. Like, if it was a case that it was a budgeting decision, then 100% I can totally see that they pushed all of the funding that probably was going to go to John Cena's entrance over into Cody Rhodes's, because yes, they
went all out, didn't they?
They
had bangs and lights and music and VTs, and he even had a really cool mask on, didn't he?
Yeah, he had like an American Nightmare, sort of an American Nightmare-esque, what's it, Iron Man sort of mask on.
That Iron Man was the sort of thing that popped up in my head, to be fair.
That makes me feel a little bit better about me just thinking it was my nerd brain taking over.
And considering I don't do Marvel, then yeah, for me to work out it was Iron Man-esque was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was. We've we're gonna sort of bulk down into the into some statistics here for it.
Well, which
So
ones have you got?
I've got got the obviously this is John Cena's last WrestleMania. It's been 7 years since his last singles win,
Right.
and 10 years since his last WrestleMania singles win.
Ah, see, I had a couple for Cody Rhodes.
Okay,
I had
I've got a
that
few for Cody Rhodes myself, so we may end up
Cody.
having the same
I think
ones.
we probably have, to be fair, that Cody's been champ for 378 days, winning the title from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. I have that this is his ninth title defense, and it is
Yep.
his 10th career WrestleMania. And I do believe that at this point as well, Cody Rhodes has never beaten John Cena. I think he's 0-3 against Cena at this point.
You've definitely got more than I had.
That one was more of a meme that I saw online that I think fits, because the final part of the meme, which I'm not going to discuss too much, as it gives away some stuff, has some pictures of different matches with the three of them, and one of them was when Cody Rhodes was sporting that fantastic moustache.
Ah, yes.
Dashing
I
Cody
remember that.
Rhodes. One of those gimmicks that is truly timeless. It will
Probably
never be
was.
forgotten. That mustache was fucking terrible. And when Randy Orton did it as well, it was like, why? Why is everyone growing stupid mustaches?
Well, Cody Rhodes did it. Randy Orton did it, and then Vince McMahon did it.
Oh, I forgot about Vince's fucking 1970s same-sex porn star mustache.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody else could.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Fucking, that's probably why Linda decided to go into politics to get away from that fucking mustache.
Yeah, I went into a little bit more detail on John Cena's WrestleMania career. So this was his 17th career WrestleMania, I think it was,
Nice.
and he holds 10 WrestleMania wins.
How many of those
So
were
that's
championship wins? Can you tell us, or do you not know?
no, you've caught me out on that one. I don't know.
I like trying to get that one in. It's always fun when we get Adam back for a podcast episode, guys, because we do get to try and have some fun.
Yeah, normally at my expense though. At least when I get you back for a podcast episode, it's a case that we just end up throwing insults at you for 10, 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, definitely, that is a good point. To be fair,
But yeah, we'll jump into the match itself because yeah, we could be here for a while otherwise. Um, so yeah, John sort of seems to start this match in a. He seems very disengaged from the match itself. Is the impression that I got.
yeah. So I think, well, there was no pace to it either. He was
Oh no,
basically,
there was pace to it, but it was all John Cena's pace.
yeah. He starts off with a shoulder tackle. You know, he ends up trying to. I think he goes into this thinking that the faster he can do the most damage, the easier it will be for him. You know, and he starts things with like headlock takedowns pretty quickly. And this is where the meme. Well, this is where my stat goes. It says that Cody is 0-4 against John Cena, but each of those losses are over 10 years old. Obviously, John's been out of the company for a while doing stuff with TV, films, and all that bits and pieces. And Cody went to this place called All Elite Wrestling for a while. And
Yeah. So
yeah,
Cody has continued to compete week in, week out. It is a case that he's had numerous matches, whether they be dark matches, house shows, anything like that. John Cena has been completely removed from the lifestyle for
a while.
at least the last sort of 1 to 2 years. And yeah, it's a case that I think in terms of that, John Cena was really smart to keep the pace low, to keep it low tempo, so that he ran less risk of becoming completely exhausted.
Well, we said this on night one's coverage with Charlotte Flair. Like, she was completely gassed by the end of her match. I say night one. I think it was early on in this episode. But she was completely gassed by the time she got to the end of her match. Even halfway through the middle of it, she was done. So I think John might have seen that and kind of gone, you know what, I might need to slow this down a bit because I might not make the full allocation that we've been given. And I'm not really going to have another opportunity to do this. You don't turn around and tell everyone this is your last WrestleMania and then turn around to Hunter afterwards and go, look, mate, I really don't think that went the way it should have done. Try again next year.
No, and considering we already know how the match turns out and everything, it is a case that this match gets absolutely slated in reviews and things like that. I think I've seen somewhere that in the Wrestling Observer, the match gets something like I think it was 1.5 stars or something like that. Like Dave Meltzer really didn't like this match.
I mean, Dave Meltzer's
was,
a knobhead anyway, but what the issue I had with this match, and I'll be straight up with you, I work early mornings and the weekends, so by the time I started work on the bank holiday, I'd already had someone ruin this match for me. So I'd already knew what was going to happen before this match had even, I got round to watching it for the podcast. So I was really pissed at this match. And to be fair, it gave the match itself, even though Dave Meltzer only gave it a 1.5 star rating, it did make up for the fact that I knew what was coming. It was I was still on the edge of my seat for a fair chunk of it, kind of going, oh, is it here? Is it here? Is it here?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't a bad match, to be fair. It kept me going. I mean, it don't take much to entertain me. A box of crayons normally does the job, but, WrestleMania definitely made up for that lack of box of crayons.
Yeah, this is it. And I've got to admit, I didn't mind the match either. I didn't even mind the ending. The only thing that got to me with the ending to this match, I mean, we could go through the blow by blow and all the rest of it because that is pretty much what my notes are here. But
So, yeah, mine are
the
the
general
same.
gist of this match is that John dominated for about, I'd say, somewhere between 85 to 75% of this match, and very much took it at his own pace. He was
Cody didn't
not
even look
running.
like he wanted to be there, to be fair. Once that bell rang, he really just looked like it was a case of oh, can we please just get this over with? His demeanor was very, very off for a WrestleMania main event.
I can't say that I picked up on that at all.
I don't know, it might have just been me, but I kind of felt with the amount of time that John was ahead and the amount of things that was going on that Cody just didn't necessarily want to really participate. And better say, it could have just been me.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, it was primarily sort of John centered, and I think we knew how this one was going to roll out as it goes. It wasn't going to end any other way.
Well, I think we've been saying it for weeks on the podcast, and we've predicted a lot of these matches. I mean, there's a few we didn't even try, but we've predicted most of these. the outcomes of most of these. We just haven't necessarily been able to tell you how. We've just been able to tell you who. And we haven't really had any major shocks, have we? Apart from Dom with the IC title. I've not really seen a huge amount of shocks with sort of like the matches that we've had.
No, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that we have. I mean, you watch wrestling long enough, and it does become predictable.
But so does everything. Unless you're watching
Yeah,
Man United play, and then the only thing that's predictable is your team is going to lose.
it's still predictable.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's not it there are some matches where you can see where it's going to go. Other matches can be too close to call sometimes. You could give me a card for any you could draw me up a card with any wrestlers in it, and based on the wrestlers that I see in there, I could probably predict what the match finishes are going to be. I couldn't tell you how we got there, but I could tell you how they're going to. I could probably tell you roughly how they're going to end with a reasonable degree of accuracy.
Yeah, and
I'd like to say.
I think, and as we've been doing finishes and factions, we have called a majority of these matches pretty early. But we still enjoy watching them, and we still definitely enjoy breaking them all down for you guys, because I think it gives us a reason to watch them from a different perspective. I don't watch WWE as a
100%.
fan anymore. Apart from, like, there are certain matches where my inner fan comes out and I'm like, yeah, fuck that, I'll watch this a second time for the podcast, but I'm just going to enjoy myself this time around. This wasn't one of those matches, though. I thought it was going to be. This wasn't for me.
Yeah, this could have been a match that was just full to the brim with nostalgia and all the rest of it, and yeah, it just wasn't. It just wasn't, and I think that was the way that the match was designed. I will be honest, is that John Cena's last WrestleMania. He's doing his last run as a heel character. I think there were some of us that still expected him to play the hits, if you like, and it just wasn't. It was never going to happen. We got the hits in terms of the moves that he used. We saw several attitude adjustments. We saw an STFU.
We even saw one
We
where
saw,
Cody poked him in the eye when he took too much time trying to hit it.
yeah, we saw. I think we saw just the one five knuckle shuffle. I want to say, roughly.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we saw one attempt and one hit.
yeah, and like Cody still managed to get a lot of his shit in as well. I think he hit a crossroads. I mean, the biggest,
We hit a few, I'm sure.
yeah, but even just the run up to these matches, the last few weeks, Cody has managed to hit crossroads on John Cena twice, I want to say, and that in itself gave us an indication as to how this match was going to go.
Well, John Cena has never won a Royal Rumble and lost at WrestleMania. But then,
And
oh wait a minute, there's a few statistics I've seen. One of them says he's never won a Rumble and lost at Mania, but I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure he has lost at Mania after winning the Rumble, but I do know that he's never come second in the Royal Rumble and not taken the title at WrestleMania. So on the years where he's come second, and I know he did it when he lost to Batista in the Royal Rumble, he won the championship at main event in WrestleMania in a triple threat, and he did it once more, I'm sure.
quite possibly. Um, yeah, but there were a few sort of OMG moments in this match. I mean, we saw John Cena exhibiting a lot of behavior we've never seen him exhibit before or haven't seen him do in a long time. Again, because he's a heel character, things like taking the turnbuckle pad um, off the turnbuckle itself, so exposing that raw turnbuckle metal, and he suckers Cody into that, and ends up running his head off the steel twice.
Well, doesn't
I
he
mean, that might
also
account.
get a second shot in the plums on him as well at one point?
He might do, you know.
I'm pretty sure I've got somewhere in my notes that John kicks him in the plums a second time.
Well, one of the biggest disappointments, and I say the biggest disappointments for this, for just generally for this for with this match, it is. I think it was expected that we were going to see the final boss.
Yes. I mean,
And
and it was set up that way, and I've seen on social media since a reason why, but it was a little bit of a piss take, I'm not going to lie.
I was going to say the rumor and innuendo that I've seen, and I'm sure you may well have seen the same thing, Rich, is that basically Dwayne decided, yeah, no, I don't fancy it.
No, what I'd seen is that the Elimination Chamber tickets weren't selling very well, so they ad-libbed that in to get more ticket sales for Elimination Chamber. He had no intentions of actually. There was no steps after Elimination Chamber. That was it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't aware of that.
that was it. And then I think they were struggling with ticket sales for Rumble as well, which is why they had the thing there with Travis Scott. No, that was Elimination Chamber,
Well,
wasn't it?
now you mentioned Travis Scott, we may as well talk about his involvement in this match. And yeah, it sort of feeds into what I was saying about Dwayne not turning up. Basically,
Well,
one way
yeah.
or another, no matter what the reason was, he didn't turn up. That's the bottom line.
And Stone Cold probably would say so too.
Yeah. And it basically boils down to
Well, he came out
uh,
with that. What is that silly little title he's walking around with? I'm pretty sure
that's
it's
the Hardcore Championship.
the Hardcore Championship. Why is he walking around with the Hardcore Championship?
So I don't think that was the championship he walked out to it with Elimination Chamber on. I think this is more of a. So I do seem to remember seeing somewhere in WrestleMania, in between the matches and everything along those lines, that somebody had done a shoe company of some kind had done. I think it might be a shoe company that Travis Scott owns and operates. Had done a WWE crossover where they had done a set of Mankind trainers,
Yeah, yeah.
and one of the main titles that Mankind won and held
Was the
was the
Hardcore title?
Hardcore title.
It was, yes.
So I think that was the crossover.
Okay. Fair enough.
That was where I think it came from.
You learn something new every day.
But yeah, it is a case that let's see. I'm trying to bring myself back round. So suddenly we see and hear Travis Scott, who we know is an associate of the final boss. Cena helps Scott onto the apron. Cena attempts to drag Cody to Travis, but Cody slips the hold, makes a play for Scott, then delivers another crossroads to Cena, covers, but Scott yanks the ref from the ring.
Yep.
Cody offers Travis into the ring, and he accepts. Travis then takes a wild swing at Cody and misses, and earns himself a crossroads all of his very own.
I mean, there was a lot of crossroads being dealt out here. I don't know how many Cena ate over the course of this match, but it was a few.
Yeah, and this is where, again, Cena starts exhibiting some of that behaviour that we don't see him do very often. So as Cody's dumping Travis's body out of the ring and turns around, Cena makes a run at him with the title belt itself, trying to take Cody out that way. And basically, Cody catches it, starts a bit of a tug of war with John Cena. And I'm sorry if there was, if I had time to spend with John Cena, a tug of war would not be what I would choose, because the guy, even now, in his older age, it is a case that the guy is still built like a brick shit house.
Yeah, no, I would definitely not want to be on either side of either of those two men. They're both pretty large fellas. I'm actually sure at
And
one point Cena's arm was bigger than my leg currently.
yeah, this is it. But yeah, essentially, Cody manages to wrestle it from Cena's grasp, where Cena actually starts begging for his forgiveness. Now, we are reminded at this point by commentary, I believe it was, that Cena did say in one of the promos he cut on the run up to this match that sooner or later Cody's going to have to make a choice.
Yes.
Um, and he's going to have to develop that killer instinct. He can't always pander to the WWE universe to get things done. And yeah, it's a case that this is not that time for Cody. Cody decides that this is that's the line he won't cross. That's where he draws the line. And yeah, the minute he drops his guard, Cena drops him with a bit of a low blow.
Oh yeah, baby.
Cena lays out Cody with the title, scores the pin as the ref recovers to declare Cena the winner and new champion.
For the 17th time, beating the record of the great Ric Flair.
Now, while we mention Ric Flair, it's made me laugh on a couple of occasions because I have come across several memes that say that AEW, which is where Ric Flair currently resides,
This is going to give him the title.
could be dead petty and just drop a world title onto Ric Flair, so that he basically just to be that extra level of petty, which there's a part of me that hopes they do it, just
Right.
because I want to see how WWE will react.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
But one thing that we have to cover is that throughout all of this, John Cena has gone on record and said that if he wins this title, or when he wins this title, he's retiring with that title. And what I
Yeah.
can't get over is obviously he's depicted this as it will be the death of the company. If he takes that title and all the prestige that goes with it, WWE will go down with it. It is a case that he is trying to destroy everything from the inside out.
Which I don't
And
understand why. I know he's the heel, but why destroy everything that's built you the life that you have?
because he doesn't need that to maintain his lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, I suppose he's making more dollar from Hollywood and he doesn't have to put his ass on the line quite so much.
No, this is it. The big thing about it all was that, or the thing that really gripped me was when he won that title and he was showing it off, celebrating in ring. It was a case that nobody in that entire Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium once gave a thought to the fact that Cena's going to follow through on what he said. He'll retire with that title.
I'm hoping so.
And if everything else that he's prophesied comes true, the death of the WWE comes at rapturous applause.
I mean, I'm not sure what this podcast would be done if there was no more WWE. We would have no more finishes and factions.
True. We'd switch to AEW.
Oh, I'd rather switch to TNA.
I was going to say we'd switch to AEW or TNA, one of the two. I said AEW to begin with because it was the last promotion we were talking about that wasn't WWE.
Yeah, but TNA is only one night a week, where AEW does Dynamite and the other one.
Explosion or something like that.
Yeah. Which
that is
I'm not
true.
down with. Oh, yeah, I'm not down for that record.
Timeless,
oh, it would be so timeless.
But that draws to a close, I believe, our coverage of WrestleMania 41.
It certainly does. I am all wrestled out, I will tell you that.
Yeah, so because of that, it will be me on me Todd for the next 2 episodes covering the Raw after WrestleMania and the NXT after Stand and Deliver as well. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for when those episodes drop.
And I will be back for SmackDown at the end of the week. So see you all then. Peace out.
Bye.